I talk a lot about how to make money and get clients as an illustrator, but I only really talk about one method, working with clients and getting paid for commissioned illustrations. And in my opinion, that is the primary goal for a freelance illustrator, but it's definitely not the only way to make money. There are dozens of ways you can make extra income as an artist, and while some people sniff at side hustles, why wouldn't you at least give it a try? Some of them are high effort, some are low effort, some take a long time to build, others are quick. A few are great for beginners and others are better suited to more established illustrators who have more of a following. In this video, I'll walk you through 13 income streams for illustrators, from traditional freelance jobs to more modern creative ways to earn. I'll also explain how to get started with each one so you've got some next steps. I've also got a section at the end of things you can probably avoid because they're either too risky or AI generated content has made them irrelevant. Some of these I've tried, some I haven't, because I'm not an artist myself. Nobody wants to buy my prints, for example. But I've experimented with a lot of side hustles over the years. Lots of them flopped, but some of them are a nice ongoing source of income, and they all work together really well. If you've been watching my recent videos, you'll know I've been banging on about social media and being more visible online for a while. That's because every single one of these things are a lot easier to do if you have a network of followers and supporters. Let's get into it. Commissioned work, client projects. Let's start with the obvious one, commissioned illustration. This is when you're hired by a client, a magazine, a brand, a publisher, whoever, to create custom work for their project. This is the primary income stream for lots of freelance illustrators and the one I focus on most on this channel. I'm not going to go into detail here because I've already got a bunch of videos on finding clients, pricing your work, and putting together a client-focused portfolio. If that's where you're at right now, definitely check those out. For today's video, let's treat client work as the foundation and then look at 12 other ways you can add income on top of it. Licensing and royalties. Another way illustrators make money is through licensing their work. That's when a client pays to use your artwork on products like greetings cards, stationery, wallpaper or textiles, clothing, gifty sort of products like puzzles or that kind of thing. Sometimes this works like a commission and the client pays you a fee to create something custom, but sometimes they simply choose illustrations from your existing archive of work. If you make something custom, you get a fee for the work involved, then royalty payments, or if they choose your existing work, it'll probably be only royalty payments with no payment up front. Let's say a greetings card company gets in touch and says, can we use these 3 illustrations for our cards? It's zero effort for you, and in theory, you could get a quarterly or annual royalty payment based on how many of your designs they sell. It's not always huge money, but if you do a lot of these kinds of deals and you have a big archive of work, it can be a nice bonus. To get into this sort of area, you've got to start making designs that are appropriate for these kinds of products. I don't know if you've tried looking for a birthday card in high street shops or supermarkets recently, but they are so shit. The jokes are rubbish, the styles are cheap and pretty unappealing, to me at least. If you have any kind of sense of humour at all, get some greetings cards in your portfolio because I'm sure you could do better than most of the card companies out there. If you work in a decorative or botanical style, things like patterns work well for stationery and homeware. Alejandra does a great job of this in her portfolio. She has a section dedicated to patterns and images available to license. If you do a lot of work in children's storybook illustrations, it's not a big reach for you to also add in some illustrations that could be suitable for children's clothes or toys, for example. Research the companies in that space. Many greetings cards companies and giftware producers are open to submissions. It shouldn't take over your whole portfolio, but a dedicated section that you can send out to those kinds of clients could be a good idea. Brand collaborations. Another income stream is brand collaborations, working directly with companies to create artwork for their products, packaging, or campaigns. This is probably best suited to artists who have a decent following online. If you only have 1,000 Instagram followers, there's not much in it for the brand, but if you've got a good following, that's quite appealing for a brand, particularly small brands, because their products will be introduced to your followers. I worked with Bodil Jane for many years. She's grown an immense following online, and as a result, she's done some great brand collabs with Chili's, who make water bottles, Lucy and Yak, Casetify, Karen Dash, who make art pencils, and others too. The strength of your work tied to a reputable brand is like a force multiplier. It's good for the brand and it's good for the artist. Feel free to skip ahead if you're not ready for this kind of thing yet, but if you've got a decent following online, all you need to do is reach out to some brands you like and ask if they'd like to collaborate on something. A lot of these sort of collaborations start on social media. When you engage with brands you love and you share similar values, you start to look like a natural fit. Just like with any client, many will say no or ignore you, but if you can show the brand that you're really aligned with them, maybe they'll say yes. You could go one step further and mock up a design of one of their products with your illustrations and then present it to them. Since I hit 10k subscribers on YouTube, these kinds of opportunities have started coming my way. Not all of them are a good fit, but when I find the right product or service that I think will be useful to you, I'll go for it. It's good for me, it's good for the brand, and it's good for my audience. You don't want to get into a situation where you're collaborating with any old brand, because it could hurt your brand. I'm saying brand a lot, brand. So think about the products and services that you use and that you like and start there. Let's talk about teaching, because teaching is a great way to help people and make a bit of money on the side. Teaching online has exploded over the last decade, and arguably it's reached a point where it's a bit oversaturated, to be honest. But if you've got something useful to teach, platforms like Skillshare or even selling your own video courses are a good way to package up your knowledge and share it with a global audience. I've done this a few times now, and to be honest, I don't make that much money from it, but a couple of months planning and creating the course in my spare time every now and again isn't that much effort, and I get a paycheck from Skillshare every month now. I've probably made $6,000 over 3 years, and that's all passive. If you want to check out my classes, there is a link in the description. Some illustrators like Tom Froese and Andy J. Pizza have done so well on Skillshare, and you can do what I can't. My classes are very much like this, me talking to the camera about a specific topic. But if you're an artist, you can make things look far more interesting. And if you want to host and sell your own course rather than Skillshare taking a cut from whatever you earn from it, platforms like Teachable or Kajabi are great places to do that. I use Kajabi for my website. Doing it that way means you can keep more of what your course makes. But again, if you don't really have a big audience of your own, it's really hard to get people to buy the course in the first place. The advantage of Skillshare is that they have a built-in audience of people actively looking for things to learn, so you'll probably do better on there overall. If you don't want to do a whole recorded video class, you could consider one-off workshops where it's a bit more live and there's some more interaction with the people that come. Pick a topic you can teach or demonstrate. Set up an event on Eventbrite linked to a Zoom meeting or something similar. You can do an hour-long workshop, charge £10 a ticket, and in theory, make a bit of money and help some people out. I've done this successfully in the past, but I've also announced these and sometimes nobody wants it. I tried it very recently actually for like a social media and online visibility workshop. Only one person signed up, so I'm going to cancel that and refund that person. The key here is testing the water before you put any work into actually making the workshop. If you can sell 20 tickets just with a title and a description, then you know it's worth putting together. If you can't, you haven't lost anything or wasted any time. So here's what you could do. Think of 3 ideas for workshops that you could host confidently. Let's say it's screen printing for beginners, generating conceptual ideas, or drawing dynamic human figures. Put a story out on Instagram with these 3 workshop ideas. Hey, I'm doing a workshop next month. Which one would you like to see the most? And then you can add a sticker so people can vote for their favorite, the one that they want to attend. You'll probably see which one is most popular pretty quickly. Then you set up the Eventbrite tickets and post that on social media too. And hopefully you'll get a lot of people booking and paying for it. But if not, it's no big deal because you haven't planned or made the workshop yet. If you only get 2 or 3 people booked on, you'll know it's not worth it. Cancel it, refund everyone, and try some other ideas next time. You only put the effort into making it once you know people want it enough to pay for it. And don't rule out in-person workshops either. If you have a studio in a city that you can invite people to for a workshop, do that. It's more premium than an online thing, so in theory it could be more profitable and more fun. If you do end up making and hosting a workshop, get everyone that attended to write you a testimonial or a review afterwards, and that will make it so much easier to sell the next workshop that you host. If you're an established professional illustrator, why not pitch yourself to some universities for a guest lecture? You can go in for a couple of hours, talk about your career and your work, answer some questions, and get paid for your time. It does mean a lot of traveling, but doing that a few times a year is a nice way to give something back to students, and make a bit of money on the side. Find the name and the email address of the illustration course leader on the university website and get in touch to introduce yourself and just pitch. Part-time industry jobs. This one isn't often talked about, but it's a pretty good, realistic option. Working part-time in a job connected to the creative industry while you're building your freelance career is a really good idea. Whether that's in a design studio, a gallery, or even part-time teaching at a college or university, it keeps you connected to the world of art and design while giving you some financial stability. Yes, it takes away time from freelancing, but the trade-off might be worth it when you're establishing yourself. I'm not going to tell you how to apply for a job, but keep your eyes open for appropriate opportunities and you might find something that you'll really enjoy. Don't make the mistake I did and get a part-time job that's not connected to the creative world at all and drains all your energy, so you've got nothing to give back to your creative work when the time comes. Ugh. Portfolio reviews. This is something I've done for a long time. I do a lot for free, but I also charge for them too. It's a nice way to meet people and help people out. If you've built up some experience, you can also offer something like portfolio reviews. This works especially well if you've had success in a particular niche and can help other illustrators move forward faster. Even if it's just offering one-off reviews, it can be a valuable income stream and a way to build your brand as an industry expert. Monetizing content creation. If you're good at social media and video, YouTube is awesome for building your brand, but it is very slow to build up. A lot of long-term opportunities can come from it though. I don't make much money from YouTube ad revenue at all. I've only ever done one sponsored video, so in itself, YouTube is not a big earner for me. But I probably couldn't have sold any of my courses, portfolio reviews, or my book if I hadn't already built up an audience on YouTube, because no one would know who I was. But for anyone who likes this channel, buying my book or getting a portfolio review isn't a massive leap because I've already proved that I can provide valuable advice and have given a lot away for free, and I still do. If you're not subscribed already, you know. There's a lot to learn with YouTube, and it's hard, but if you're that way inclined, it could be a great thing to try out because it opens up a lot of opportunities. Check out Chris Piascik, Kelsey Rodriguez, and Anusha Syed's channels too. Loads of great content for artists and illustrators. I'll link to them in the description. Related to that, affiliate marketing is also a great opportunity to earn a bit on the side. Lots of brands have affiliate marketing programs where you can talk about a product or service in your content, get a special link that you share, and when one of your viewers or followers uses that link to buy the thing, you get a little cut of the sale. I've done this a few times, but it's generally only the odd book that I mention, and I use an Amazon affiliate link for that. But if you're an artist and you review products or software or anything like that, you can get an affiliate link and earn a little bonus when people buy things based off your recommendations. This is why tech YouTubers can make so much money, because they review a computer or a camera or something like that, high-priced items, and their audience uses their link to buy that item. It's awesome. Adobe have an affiliate program. You can get an affiliate link for any Amazon product. Squarespace, Procreate, Motion Array, Etsy, Skillshare, Wacom, Notion, you know, the list goes on and on. I can't review like Procreate or a Wacom tablet because I can't draw, but you probably could. Prints and merch. One of the most common side income streams for illustrators is selling prints or merchandise. I've got a bunch down here. I've got prints from illustrators all over the house, and this could be through platforms like Etsy or Society6, or by running your own shop with Shopify or Squarespace. The margins aren't always huge and competition is tough, but for illustrators with a recognizable style and an engaged following, it can really add up. Here's how to start with that. Test a few designs on print-on-demand platforms to see what sells best. And once you know what works, consider setting up your own shop on your own website, then you'll keep more of what you earn. Digital products have become really popular for illustrators and designers. Things like brush packs, textures, templates, or digital downloads. They take effort up front, but once you've made them, you can sell them again and again without much extra work. For illustrators, Procreate brush packs are huge, or even like something like a PDF guide or other written creative resources can sell if you package them well and people respect your opinions. Think about what you've created for yourself already. Brushes, textures, templates, whatever you use in your day-to-day work. Package it up for other people and sell it on something like Gumroad or on your own website. If you're good at what you do and people want to be like you, people will buy them. I have a book, a career guide for freelance illustrators, link in the description. I'm not really going to talk about books here, but if you want a video on self-publishing a book, let me know in the comments, because I went through that whole process and that's a good earner for me too. But it's hard work and it's not cheap. But I mentioned it here because the last one on this list is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a bigger effort, but it can really pay off. Platforms like Kickstarter are full of illustrators funding art books, games, tarot decks, and lots more interesting products. Owen Davey recently funded his board game Fame and Fable through Kickstarter. It was a huge success. I'm sure Owen would tell you that it was an enormous amount of work though. Ben Talon, illustrator and author, funded at least one of his books through Kickstarter, maybe more, because paying for a good editor is no joke. It is very expensive. And if you want your book to be good, you need a good editor. I wish I'd thought of kickstarting my book before I started. Here's how I recommend you start with crowdfunding a project. Build up a small, dedicated following at first. Sorry, but it is the key to so many opportunities. Launch a simple, small-scale project to learn the ropes before going for like your big idea, and Kickstarter has loads of guides on setting that up. I want to flag a couple of other things that used to look like good opportunities for illustrators, but aren't really worth your time anymore. NFTs. Fuck NFTs. A few years ago, people were making big claims about NFTs as the future of digital art. Well, it was good for a while for some people, but for most illustrators who got in on the action, it was a very short-lived gold rush that's now basically collapsed. They're unpredictable, there's lots of scammers out there, and they don't really help building a sustainable career. Don't bother. Stock illustration is another one. Once upon a time, illustrators could make a bit of passive income by uploading their archive of work to stock sites. But the market has been flooded for years, and with AI capabilities now, it's basically not worth it. Unless you've got a huge backlog of unused art, it's probably not worth your time. I bring these up because they still get talked about, and I want to save you the headache. There are far better ways to use your time and skill to make money as an illustrator. Before we wrap up, let's talk about passive income in general, because this idea gets thrown around a lot. Everybody wants a slice. Truth is, you've got to be really good at your style before you have any chance of making any passive income. If your work doesn't stand out, people aren't going to buy your brushes, your prints, or your products. You also need some kind of following. Passive income just doesn't appear out of nowhere. You need fans and supporters who actually want what you're making. And honestly, passive is a bit of a myth. Even when you make a brush pack or sell prints, you still have to promote them if you want anyone to buy them. You still have to invest time and energy into it. The way I think about all these little side hustles is more like an ecosystem. You don't want to rely too heavily on one stream, but a few of them together can add up to something really solid. For me, I've got my book, portfolio reviews, Skillshare classes, and YouTube ad revenue. None of them on their own would support me, but together they add up to a nice steady bonus each month. And that's really the point. Commissioned work is still the backbone for most illustrators, but stacking a couple of these other little income streams on top can give you a bit more security, variety, more opportunities down the line, and a bit of extra cash for a rainy day. So don't stress about trying to do all of these. Just pick a couple that make sense for you and layer them on top of your client work. Over time, you'll find your own mix that feels sustainable. If you want to go deeper on the client side, portfolios, finding work, pricing, I've got plenty of videos on the channel to help you with that. Here's a playlist. And if this video helped, hit subscribe, because I've got more practical, no-nonsense advice for illustrators, some nonsense, coming your way every next week. What the fuck? See you next time.